Grace and peace, friends and family. Welcome to another conversation. I'm Joy, founder of Pink Girl Teaches, certified life coach, and narcissistic abuse recovery is my area of expertise. I welcome you if it's your first time here. And if you find anything that I have to share valuable, I encourage you to subscribe, like, comment, share, and continue to fearlessly pursue your most significant state. I'm also an author of the book Fearless, The Relentless Pursuit, and I have created some journals. My first journal is a self awareness journal called Bloom, and my up and coming journal is Breathe. And this is a guided journal also for victims of narcissistic abuse to kind of help you transition through the fog. Today, I wanted to talk to you about from feast to famine. Don't you know that when you are in a relationship with a narcissist, it starts off at the feast? When they are love bombing you, essentially you are seated at their table. And as they mirror you and show you everything that you are, you got to understand that the person that you fall in love with or the person that you grow to care about during the initial stages of the relationship is truly yourself. The only thing is that you are seeing it through another person because if truth be told, and you got to see them for who they are, you would not be interested. You would have kept it pushing after hello. But because they decided and they came to the conclusion, right, that you are a viable source of supply. They looked at you, they said, this is the one. And they selected you for that. Let's keep things in perspective. You were selected for abuse by an abuser. This predator scoped you out, and as part of their um, enticement, they got to know you and then just projected you on you. Whenever we talk about projection, it's usually when they're throwing out the or they're spewing the vile parts of themselves onto you. But here is kind of like the reverse, where they are giving you everything that you are. And that's the mirroring process, right? And it feels good because you resonate with it. They don't have any of that on the inside of them. Another thing about narcissists is that, they're soul hunters. Now, when I say that they're soul hunters, all they're really doing is mirroring everybody that they admire, that they have come into contact with. So they siphon those good qualities. They learn how to imitate those ways because they don't have it. They lack those qualities because they cannot empathize, right? All they can give is a performance. All they can give is an illusion. Nothing is real. And I think when you really understand and you get to really believe that nothing is real and you accept it for that, then it becomes easier for you to transition beyond the relationship and the ruminating thoughts, as well as that trauma bond, that soul tie that is essential, that needs to be broken so that you can essentially move on, is what I'm saying. But when you're at this feast, they're serving you everything that you want, but nothing that you need. What do I mean? They're giving you everything that you want, the things that kind of tickle your ears and make you feel like, oh, you know what? Everything is so good. It feels too good to be real. I'm floating on cloud nine. All of that is to kind of desensitize you to reality. It's everything you want, but not what you need. What you need is truth. What you need is honesty. What you need is dependability. What you need is faithfulness. What you need is companionship. What you need is love. But they are giving you the opposite each and every time, just tickling your ears and giving you a bunch of nothing. Nothing that you're getting from them is ever going to serve you any good. It actually leads you to the famine, right? So when it comes to a narcissist, what you have to remember is that they love what they do not have. And when I say love, please understand that I'm using the term loosely. They admire what they do not have. So that's why, before they're able to actually secure you, right? They are so focused, and it's almost like they have tunnel vision in their pursuit of you. They're intentional and they're relentless until their desire is fulfilled. Now, let me say this to you while I'm here. Always remember that with a narcissist, it's never about love. Love has nothing to do with it. You see, one thing about love, according to John 3 and 16, it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave." He gave, love gives. He gave his son, right? But it wasn't that it ended there, but that it goes on to say that whosoever believed in him would not perish, right? Believe. There is an action required. You see, you can't have love without giving. What did they give you? Misery and nightmares, horror? That's not the love of God. And God is always the standard. If you're going to define love, you can't do it outside of God, because God is love. You see, love requires responsibility. When God says that, for God, well, when the Bible tells us that for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only, or his only begotten son, that whosoever believed in him, believing being the responsibility, meaning you have to be accountable to take that step, or accountable for taking that step to walk in this everlasting life that is promised because of this love. You see, love requires accountability. Love requires responsibility. So even as you transition beyond narcissistic abuse and you love yourself, you must be accountable to God first for the love that he has shown you, and the love that you must now demonstrate to yourself, because the Bible tells us that, love your neighbor as yourself. So you are accountable to yourself. You got to give yourself that top tier love first, so that you can give it to the next person. How are you going to love somebody sent by God top tier style when you don't even love yourself like that? So love requires accountability. When we're going to be accountable to God with everything that he gave us and everything that he loves about us, and we're going to treat that responsibly. But you see, when you give your love to a narcissist who, first of all, cannot comprehend love, light of darkness cannot comprehend the light, so they are not going to be responsible with your love, and they certainly will not be accountable. You see, narcissists fight accountability. Anytime you call them to be accountable, anytime you are looking for accountability from a narcissist, you get narcissistic rage, you get silent treatment, you get ghosted, you get devalued, you get discarded. I mean, I could go on and break it down, right, into so many different things within within their little toolbox that they want to feed you instead of being accountable. Love requires accountability. Whenever there is no accountability there, essentially what you have is lust. And when lust is fulfilled, it expires. So you see, the narcissist lusts after you until they've had what they need. It's like pouring into a bucket with holes. You can pour everything, top tier love, loyalty, security, anything you can think of, all kinds of, supply that they like. And I'm just saying supply because that was the first word that came to my mind. But you can pour everything that they desire, attention, affection, admiration, adoration, all of it into that empty bucket. But it's not going to be enough because that bucket has holes in it. So it can't hold anything. And so if you are pouring, if I am pouring into something that is empty, eventually I'm going to be depleted because the other person isn't pouring into me, right? The narcissist wasn't pouring into you, but you were pouring all your love, all your top tier love at that out, and nobody is replenishing you. But then the new supply on the outside over there looks pretty good because their bucket is full and yours is empty. And so the narcissist is going to drain that supply until it's empty and move on. They want what they cannot have, or they lust after what they can't have. And once they have drained that, essentially, it gets discarded. It's no longer good. And you go from that feast where they're love bombing you and they're intentionally pursuing you and spending time with you and mirroring you and giving you everything that you need, essentially setting you up to be knocked off the pedestal. Because let's not forget it, they're not only there for, just receiving, but they actually also enjoy your moments of pain, your moments of sadness, your moments of sorrow, because anybody that loves and anybody that cares about you doesn't treat you that way. And here's the thing, and I want you to consider this as you decide to begin to start talking to other people and dating when you are ready. Don't ever settle for somebody, and stay away from people that view other people as options. I know that it's so common within the dating culture to view people as options and say, you know what, I've got options. Or, I'm going to keep a rotation of people because I want options. First of all, you're talking about, or they're talking about somebody, remember this, who has been formed and fashioned in divinity. They have been created in the image and likeness of God, and the nerve to reduce somebody to an option. Listen, if you didn't know, I have a podcast on dating and relationships. So it's wherever podcasts are, it's Pink Girl Teaches. I actually just restarted the podcast because when I was writing my book, I needed time to just focus on that. And I kind of tapped out, I kind of put aside all the old episodes because I want to walk in something new and different. And I'm doing a kingdom versus culture perspective. But you see, narcissists view people as options. But listen, options are nothing more than toppings. Ketchup, mustard, mayo, those things go on burgers. How you want to customize your car, that is an option, not people. People are made in the image of God. And don't ever allow, and this is what narcissists did, they looked at you as an option. You are a child of the Most High God. The word says that you are a royal priesthood, a chosen generation. And I'm paraphrasing the order here, but you got to remember that. You got to remember that God looks at you as the apple of his eye. So when somebody talks to you and treats you like an option, that is disrespectful. And when disrespect is being served, brothers and sisters, you have one option and one option alone, and that is to respect yourself at all costs. And when you decide that no more, and you permanently close the door on a narcissist, that is essentially respecting yourself. Because listen, the final discard is up to you. It has nothing to do with the narcissist. It is all about you, none of them, right? And so don't ever be allowed to be called an option. That is degrading and it is dehumanizing. And I don't care what they say. They can do whatever and they can say whatever they want over there. But trust me, God does not look at people as an option. People are his children. And, I want you to value yourself and love and respect yourself. Remember, you're to be accountable for who you are and what God has given you. To whom much is given, much is required. Your knowledge, your awareness, your relationship with him. You got to honor those things. And so, going back to the feast, once the feast and once the focus of the narcissist has shifted, they serve breadcrumbs, talking to you when they want to, ghosting you, reappearing. Listen, if somebody is a ghost, let them be ghost. Don't entertain zombies, okay? Let the dead sleep. Don't entertain that. Throwing people out into the orbit and pulling them back. No, don't entertain those games. We don't play those games in the kingdom. You are God's child, and the standard for you is different as a child of God. And so don't entertain the foolishness. Yes, of course, it can hurt when your feelings are involved. That's why it is so important that you sit down with God and allow him to tell you who you are and allow him to speak the spirit of the person he wants to connect you with into you so that you are not deceived. And also, not that you're not deceived, but you don't entertain maybes. Because we don't want to do that. We want to walk in the truth and in the fullness of what God has for us. And God does reveal. But anyhow, going from the breadcrumbs, right? Listen, God's word tells us that he has already, not that he might, not that he's considering, not that he maybe, no, it says that he has already prepared a table for you. He has prepared a table for you. There was no question mark. There was no hesitation. It was a confident. He has prepared a table for you in the presence of your enemies. Psalms 23, verse 5. There is no question about that. It is a solid fact that this is done. And so, if your father is saying, reject the breadcrumbs because I have a whole banquet feast for you, why are you going to focus on the famine of the narcissist? It's so crucial that as you transition through the fog, that you keep the focus on yourself. A lot of times the conversation drifts to the narcissist this and the narcissist that, and just continuing to make them the highlight of your life. And that is continuing trauma. It is continuing to relive what has hurt you. But how long are you going to stay in Lodabar, a place of desolation? Nothing grows in Lodabar. How long are you going to stay and be faithful to what has already walked away from you? How long are you going to replay the soundtrack of disappointment? How long are you going to sit there in Lodabar when there is a table prepared for you in the palace? You have a position of authority. You have a position that has been reserved just for you. And remember, when God does a thing, He doesn't just do a small thing. He doesn't just do a maybe thing. He doesn't just throw things together randomly. He puts thought to what He does. Look at you. Look at how wonderfully and fearfully and wonderfully you are created. Look at how everything about your life is working towards your good. Consider this, that God needed you and wanted you in the earth realm at this time for something specific. And He made you so unique that it doesn't even matter how many people do the same thing that you do. Can nobody do it like you, because your fingerprints are so unique and they're a representation of the imprint that He wants you to make in the earth. So it doesn't matter if 1 million people do the same thing that you do. God said, my child will do it the way that I want them to do it. And you're going to focus on a narcissist when God has purpose, when there is meaning on your life, and there are people connected to you waiting on you. And the way people are waiting on you is all tied into God's purpose for your life. But if you stay in Lodabar and you stay there longer than you need to, you delay your own destiny. You delay your own fulfilled desire, or your desired fulfillment, should I say. And so you don't have to stay thinking about the feast or what you thought was a feast with the narcissist, because essentially that was the famine, because they were serving nothing but lies. But at that point, we didn't know that, right? But when you know better, they say you do better. And so now we know that no, it really wasn't a feast. Love bombing wasn't a feast. It was a whole famine where breadcrumbs and confusion were being served. And anything that is, where there is confusion, there is chaos. And where there is chaos, there is something that is corrupt. And anything that is corrupt is going to compromise everything that it comes into contact with. Think about how your emotions were compromised. Think about how your self-awareness was compromised. Think about how your self-love was compromised. Consider how your self-perception was compromised because you spent time with the narcissist. Confusion, corruption, chaos. That's all that they breed. But we have a God who is able to heal, restore, and redeem. And so, as you go through your journey of recovery, I want to encourage you to take the focus off the narcissist, because the real feast is in the presence of God. The real feast is you actually build up your appetite to feast as you begin to heal. And it all starts when you decide that I'm not going to focus on them. There's only so much that we can consume that points back to the narcissist. But enough. When we say blocked, when we say discarded, when we say no contact, our thoughts now must do that. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Remember, they're soul hunters. It starts in your mind and it takes over your emotions and then your will. So, why don't we do the reverse? Let's make you the focus of your mind, your healing, your dreams, your family, your goals, your vision, your purpose. First and foremost, God. Make those things the center of your thoughts. So, it consumes your mind. And whatever you feed in your mind, goes into your heart, your feelings, your emotions. Develop those, become more self aware in those areas. And then that leads your will in a particular direction. Again, going back to your soul, mind, emotion, and will. And we're taking the focus off of the narcissist all of 2022 and beyond. This is about you. It is no longer about being stuck. It is no longer about ruminating. It is no longer about having soul ties with people who came to steal, kill, and destroy you. But it's all about you and becoming everything that God already knows that you are. Listen, family, my website is at the top of the screen, as you can see, pinkgirlteaches.com. Under shop, I have created some worksheets, and it's almost like coaching with me, but it's through worksheets. Some of the worksheets are short, they're 10 pages. Other ones go up to anywhere between 45 and 50 pages. And there is a variety of them, from loving me to God's remedy for anxiety, self awareness. There are so many different worksheets that I created. I spent time thinking about these, and mostly because I worked through them myself, and I also work through them with my children. So you can also do these with your children, but you may just have to reword them. But there are some that I have offered complimentary on the website. And if there is one that you want and you cannot afford it, and let me know and I'll just send you I'll work with you. Like, it's not that serious. I want you to heal. I want you to walk into wholeness. And listen, healing is what you're going to get from these videos and from therapy, coaching, counseling. That is healing. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to make you healthy again. However, you got to transition to wholeness, and wholeness comes from God. You see, wholeness cannot come from people. And I don't care if they call themselves a wholeness coach, a wholeness therapy, a wholeness therapist, or whatever they say. Wholeness is the work of God, because what it is that it's going from a state of being broken to being put together as if you were never broken. And only God can do that. And that's why I like to combine all aspects of it, or I encourage you to get involved. And that's why I decide I'm going to come from a biblical and spiritual perspective, because it offers wholeness. But I don't offer wholeness. I can talk about or point you to who does offer wholeness, and you seek him for your wholeness. He told the woman with the issue that your faith has made you whole. He can say the same thing to you. He's the one who is going to make you whole. So continue, family, to pursue your most significant state. And thank you so much for your time. Listen, if you enjoy this video and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe and become a member of this community. And if you would like to receive a motivational text message from me weekly, overcoming fear through faith, then text fearless one to 74121 or to 833-205-9557. Family, I thank you so much for your time. Continue to come from behind. God bless you and have a great rest of the day. Till the next video, goodbye.